Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Gods and Monsters by E.E. King, read by me, E.E. King. Each week, MetaStellar is releasing a new episode of Gods and Monsters both in print and on audio YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Last week, Jim came to San Francisco to visit his brother Jackson and stole one of Gabrielle's necklaces from the Fates occult shop. And now, section 27, The Crossing, chapter 81, River, San Francisco, 1985, Faith. It's 2 a.m. at Bert's. Thanatos has left. Jackson and his partner are not at their usual table, except for two high school kids whispering in a distant corner. Pam and River are alone. Pam pours River coffee. Over the handle of the sturdy china cup, their hands meet. This really is dreadful coffee, you know. Pam dimples. We have special dreadful coffee making classes at Bert's. It takes a lot of practice to make coffee this bad. Well, you're real good at it. Pam giggles. I brought you some raisin oatmeal cookies, River says, with absolutely no hope that Pam will taste them, even though he has mixed in memories of a night so sweet, just thinking of it might leave you breathless. They look like chocolate chip cookies, Pam smiles. Raisins where chocolate chip cookies should be are one of the reasons I have issues with Faith. River's about to remind her of the chocolate chip cookies that she had refused only last week when she leans across the counter and kisses him. Her mouth tastes fresh and cold. It makes River think of the mist that hung in the redwoods, so impenetrable the truth could be right in front of you, and you wouldn't even see it. Wonder where Jackson is, River says, crumbling up a saltine for Huck. Maybe with all the crime in the city, Jackson has to cut down on the donuts and his silent partner has to wake up. I swear, I've never seen his eyes open. River considers. I must have seen him awake when he and Jackson questioned me, but I can't remember. I guess my mind was otherwise occupied. Hey, you must see him walk in and out. What does he look like? His eyes are glazed, says Pam, so long as they don't have sprinkles on top. A night wind blows into the diner, ruffling the napkins and leaping through the pages of Pam's order pad. Jackson stands in the door, wind whipping around him like a cloak. His eyes are wide and unseeing. What? River begins. We found another body, Jackson says. He's swaying as if he has no center, as if he might fall at any moment and never arise. Oh, that's terrible, Pam says. She and River exchange glances. Jackson, after all, has seen many bodies, especially lately. The scene must have been unique to make him react so strongly. Are you okay, buddy? River asks. The policeman looks lifeless. River walks over to Jackson, propelling him gently inside. The large man allows himself to be led to the counter and pushed onto a stool. He buries his head in his hands. I found him, he says. It was Jim. Jim, my baby brother, drained of all his blood with 2 goddamn puncture marks in his neck and chain marks around his throat. Just like the rest. He came out here because he wanted to see me. Jackson's shoulders shake. I never even got to see him, he rasps. My baby brother never got to say goodbye or even hello. River pats his shoulder awkwardly. Here, he says, reaching inside of his coat pocket and pulling out a crumbled packet of 5 spice walnuts. This will make you feel better. Really? Jackson's eyes are full of tears. I don't want no goddamn sweets, River, he says. But he unrolls the packet and pops a walnut into his mouth. His eyes grow dreamy. He smiles, sad and calm as an autumn sunset. I remember when he was born, he used to whimper at night. When he grew up, he was wild, but he could make you laugh, mimic people, the way they'd talk, the way they'd walk. He'd have us laughing so hard we'd cry. He'd imitate Mr. Meggers, the dean, even Pop sometimes. I would try not to laugh, try to be tough, like Pop, try not to show him how goddamn funny he really was. And now he's dead. Jackson's face crumbles. Go home, River says. I'll drive you. River gently puts an arm under Jackson, raising him to his feet. Maybe, says Pam, he'll visit you in dreams. Sometimes my old nanny visits me. Once we spent a whole lifetime together in a single night, and maybe we really did. Maybe we are the dreams and they the dreamers. Maybe dream time is simply another reality. Nightmares are more like it, growls Jackson, but his face is peaceful. In the wind, Jackson hears a voice. Don't regret the past or mourn the future, says Jim. Take joy in the fact that you reached out to me across years of misunderstanding, and for one brief moment, I touched your hand. Jackson stands, unmoving. He feels a touch and hopes it's not just a breeze. I've got just the thing for dreams, River says, propelling Jackson out into the night. Huck flies behind them. Jackson, he caws mournfully. Jackson leans against the door of the patrol car. River wonders where his silent partner is, but this seems no time to ask. I don't think you should drive, River says. Jackson reminds him of a deflated balloon. I know, he nods. You drive. He hands River a black leather keychain with a silver badge. I've always wanted to drive one of these, thinks River. I'd like to put on the siren and go screaming through the night. Go ahead, River, Jackson says. River starts. What? Go ahead. Switch on the siren and floor it. River flushes. Had something in his face betrayed his desire? It's okay, Jackson says. Every guy wants to. It's like having a date with Marilyn Monroe. You've been a friend to me, River. That doesn't happen much, especially with people I arrest. Besides, if not for you, I would never have written to Jim. We might never have connected. If not for me, River thinks, me and my damn muffins, Jim might never have come out here. He might still be alive. Anyway, I want to go home and sleep, so floor it, buddy. River doesn't wait for another invitation. Flicking on a switch, he pushes the siren and accelerates. They soar through the night, painting the fog in blue and red. River throws back his head and whoops, startling grief away. Jackson grins. River leaves Jackson at his door, giving him brownies that guarantee deep sleep and good dreams. After 2 brownies, a shot of scotch, and a Xanax, Jackson drifts away. In the night, in the darkness, Jim is waiting for him, young and strong. He laughs at Jim's antics. He knows everything Jim has done, and it doesn't matter one bit. The bad boy from Healdsburg and the one who has done everything right are friends, brothers at last. Jim awakes, his face damp with loss. On his pillow lies a gold and silver coin and a crystal teardrop. It shoots kaleidoscope prisms of light around his room, clothing the morning in memory. Chapter 82, Jim. On the banks of the river Styx, 1985, The Crossing. Jim is standing on the rocky shore of a dark underground river. The only sound is a constant thrum of pebbles, which gently lapping waves draw back and fling up the high strand. There is a whisper, the sound of a shadow gliding over hard, round stones. Against the blackness, he sees a man, tall and lean. "Christian," breathes Jim. "Oh, Christian, it's you." The shade raises hollow eyes to Jim. They do not glow in the darkness. This is no skinwalker. These are Christian's eyes, sad, pale caverns in his wasted echo of a face. Beyond sight, something is making small dark circles in the river. Tiny waves beat against the shore. Out in the blackness, a golden light hovers. Its flickering glow reflects off the expanding swells, shooting beams of light around the cavern. Jim can just make out a dim outline lit by a lantern. A tall man is pulling through the water toward them. He wears a cloak and stands perfectly balanced, not even swaying in the small craft. When he reaches the shore, the boatman holds out a skeletal hand, palm up, dark, transparent skin like a night onion stretched taut over bones. Wordlessly, he points to the coin around Jim's wrist. Jim removes the coin, placing it in the ferryman's waiting palm. He watches it vanish beneath the lucent flesh. Jim steps onto the boat. The boatman begins to pull away. "No," Jim whispers. "Wait." He reaches toward Christian, who's glowing like stardust in the night. The boat rocks violently. The boatman shakes his head. He opens his palm. It's empty, but beneath his skin, Jim's coin flashes briefly. A sun under night sky. Jim's heart no longer beats, but it's still warm. From under his shirt, he pulls his second coin and hands it to the ferryman. As it vanishes under his skin, Jim holds out his hand to Christian. He takes it and steps into the boat, which glides, smooth as glass, back into the waiting darkness. Above the boat, the shades of crows and pigeons soar, night rainbow feathers beating silently. Shadows of wolves race over the water on weightless feet. On a distant shore, small round huts dot the beach. Smoke wafts through the air, carrying the memory of cold nights, distant falls, and forgotten winters. From the beach and woods, childish laughter rises, mingling with the haze like particles of happiness. In the shade of trees taller than memory and older than time, a Mimi is waiting. Thank you for joining us. Join us next week when River feels his absence like hunger. There is nothing, no touch of a caress in the gentle wind, no whisper from beyond. When River is discovering places in his heart that did not exist until sorrow created them. Thank you. See you next week. Bye-bye.